To build anything that truly lasts, it takes time.
In fact, after 3 days, the Wall Street saw gains in the session overnight. The S&P 500 and Dow Jones, they posted their first positive sessions in 3 with a rise of 0.6% and 0.5% respectively, whereas the Nasdaq Composite, that jumped almost 1% to close at a record. Now, these gains were spurred by optimism around the artificial intelligence trade, which sent Nvidia shares nearly 2% higher to briefly become the first public company to be valued at $4 trillion. Now, this bullish AI sentiment helped lift stocks as investors move past the latest developments surrounding Trump's tariffs, as you just mentioned, Ashesha. However, do remember now President Donald Trump has announced a 50% tariff on Brazil, so that's something that the market is going to watch out for. Now, concerns over this impact of tariffs, specifically as it relates to inflation and the labor market, also came up in the minutes from the Federal Reserve's June meeting that was unveiled yesterday. However, the minutes showed that policymakers were split on how many interest rates cuts the central bank should make over the coming months. Moving on, investors are now awaiting more developments on the economic front, as jobless claims data is something that is due later today. But how are things looking on the crude front, Ashesha?
Subdued action coming in for the commodity markets today morning. Although Brent crude has snapped its 3-day gaining streak, it is now sitting with a cut of nearly 0.3% as we speak. For this week so far, Brent crude has gained nearly 2.5%, and it is currently trading near that $70 per barrel mark. So not much action that we've seen today morning, but several factors continue to remain at play. One, of course, is tariff, but the second and the most important one is also rising inventories of crude oil in the United States. So data suggested that inventories climbed by about 7.1 million barrels last week. That is the highest that we have seen since January this year. So inventory continues to remain on the higher side, because of which Brent crude prices continue to fall. And of course, on the back of that OPEC Plus outcome that came in earlier this week, where supply could increase in the global market, and Brent crude today is sitting with a cut of nearly 0.3% to trade near that $70 per barrel mark. But let's also talk about the yellow metal market then. Gold, that one is trading at $3,317 per ounce. It is down 0.6% today, but remember, we saw a solid 2% uptick in yesterday's trading session. One trigger, of course, is tariff, but the second one for gold is the movement in interest rate that we could see over the next few months. Now, FOMC minutes suggested that there is divergence in what the outcome could be going forward. 7 out of 10 analysts believe that perhaps we could see at least 2 rate cuts in the rest of the year. So that's as far as interest rate environment is concerned. But for the moment, Brent crude is trading near $70 per barrel mark, and we have gold, spot gold, which is trading near $3,320 per ounce mark.